Most, are we ready? This is management science. So just making sure you're in the right place. I can't remember if I emailed the syllabus to you, but I usually try to do it before the semester starts. Did I do it for this class? I did? Some of you are saying yes, and some of you are saying I did. Okay. So you had a chance to look at that. What about the course outline? Did I send that?
Yes.
I did send it? Okay. You had a chance to look at that. If for some reason we have a snow day, and odds are we probably will, this is where the official changes would be in course information, right here. This won't change through the semester. So this is just to give you an idea of what to expect, but this is the official, this is where you want to look. And there'll be an announcement that says, schedule has changed due to snow day, check course information. And then you just come here and take a look. The syllabus I was just talking about, let's see, what can we say? Office hours, before this class starts on Tuesdays and Thursdays, before the other class starts on Mondays and Wednesdays. Stick around after my lecture for 10 minutes because it takes me at least that long to pack everything up. If you want to walk me to my office, that counts as an office visit. You'll understand what I mean by counts in a minute. But when you get to the top of the stairs, and if you were to go straight instead of turning right, that's where all of our offices are. And I'm right in there. When you walk in to the right, second door on the right. You can see my window from out in the hall. So you can kind of tell if I'm there or not by the light, I guess. Now, none of these times are available to you. I work around your schedule. Skype, FaceTime, we can do it this way. Students don't feel comfortable doing this until about halfway through the semester, and finally I'll start getting some requests to do some FaceTime or Skype. I'll work around your schedule. When you're available, we'll figure it out. If you want some office time. What else? Here's my phone number. You can text if you want. You can call if you want. I'll never answer. I never do. That's about it. Yeah, supposed to be doing the grades. Pretty standard grading scale, except for I've taken the middle B, C, A, and D and just moved it down a point. So instead of needing 94, 93 is an A. Instead of needing 84, 83 to 86 is an A. Instead of 74, instead of 64. So other than that, it's a pretty standard scale. How you know how you're doing is because after each of the 4 quizzes, you'll see an announcement that says quiz scores are posted. And by the next day, usually, you'll see another announcement that says weighted total scores are now posted. Weighted total scores after every quiz is literally showing you what your grade would be if the class ended right then, without participation being involved. So what I do is I say, let's say the first quiz goes by, and we've had 2 in-class assignments already, and I think to myself, well, we'll probably end up with 10, so I assign 2% or 2 points to each of the in-class assignments. Homework, maybe we'll have 1 or 2 before the first quiz. I'll think, okay, maybe we'll have 10, 1.6 points to each one of those. And then the quiz will have 9.5 points. That'll probably be all that we have after the first quiz. I'll apply those weights, and it will calculate, and I'm going to put it in an Excel spreadsheet so you can calculate yourself as the semester goes on. Make sure my calculation is correct, and you'll know what your grade is throughout the whole time. You can, once you get familiar with the spreadsheet I'll post, and you don't want to wait for me, you can, after every assignment, you can change it and see what your grade is going in the class. So my goal is so that you always know how you're doing, and what you see is what it is. It's not like anything changes. I stick right to that scale. So you can always match up where you stand by just looking up here. And when the semester gets over, you don't have to wait for your grades to arrive. Your final weighted total is your grade in the class. So you can just look at that scale and know what grade you're going to get before, after a finals are graded. Final exam is a big deal. 20% of your grade. It is cumulative. About half of it's cumulative. The other half is just like a quiz, like quiz number 5 over the new material. And then the other half is like a quiz, but one problem from all the previous chapters. So, the good news is, first of all, I hope you got a book, because it is open book test, quizzes and final, and everything like that's open book. So that's why it'd be good to get a book. I'm all about not spending a lot of money, so if you notice, I think I put can't remember which edition this is. 14th, but there may even be a 15th out already. So I'm purposely trying to use an older edition, and I'm encouraging you to get an older edition even than the 14th if you want you to save money. I hope you don't spend more than $50 on a book. I've been there. I was such a poor college student that having spent $200 on books and stuff for class just seemed crazy. So I purposely try to use old editions. You gotta remember, no matter if this is the 13th edition or 12th edition, the information is so darn similar. It's just the homework questions are changed and maybe slight changes here and there. But for an open book quiz, everything that's in any of those editions are going to give everybody equal while you're taking the quiz, so it doesn't matter. Homework assignments, if you don't have the edition and I happen to be assigning a homework assignment out of this edition, just either get a hold of me or someone else in the class. Take a picture of the correct homework problem instead of the one you might have in your edition, and I'll email it to you, or someone else can email it to you. Just email a picture. All right? You can. I actually have found out recently that the 13th edition is out there on the internet for free as an ebook. So if you're really hungry to save money.
Since it's open book quizzes and games and stuff, do you care if you get an ebook or a paperback book?
No, I don't care. Whenever, the only bad side of that is sometimes there's ebooks that will only allow you access while you're connected to the internet, and you cannot be connected to the internet during the quiz or something.
Okay.
Has anybody, not all ebooks are like that. Has anybody ever had an ebook where you can only connect to it while you're on the internet? Does it still exist? It does still exist? I don't know, check your ebook when you're thinking about buying an ebook and make sure you can access it while you're not on the internet, or we'll figure something out. I don't know. I happen to have 2 extra books, but almost always someone forgets a book, so they grab one of my extra older editions. Okay, so that'd be emergency plan. What else? Let's get to some good stuff. Any questions so far on what I've said? Everyone's okay? Everyone understands what to expect? Let's go down here, right here. When you get an assignment back, it either has one of these 3 categories at the top of it. Just the word okay, which is the same as getting 100, but the reason you don't see a score there and just the word okay is I'm trying to tell you, hey, it's an open note quiz, open note test. If I put okay in there, I didn't look to see if you got it right or wrong, and don't use your answer while you're taking the quiz. Maybe print the correct answer off a blackboard and use that while you're taking the quiz. Because I'm grading more than 50% of your assignments on whether you put in the work, not if you got it right or wrong. That you attempted every part of the problem and put in sufficient amount of work that truly looks like you tried to do it and everything that exists with it. And then you just get 100. But I'm not looking to see if you did it right or wrong. Now, if you have okay with a score, that means you didn't get 100. I didn't look to see if you got it right or wrong, but you didn't put enough work in, or you're missing a section, or something like that. If I use the word missing item, you can still hand in the original assignment plus the missing item and get partial points back, or whatever I had to take off for what's missing. So, keep that in mind. I designed this class, by the way. I know that sounds like crazy that you can get points back on an assignment you didn't complete all the way. But I am designing this class so these assignments are going to keep your grade up, hopefully, because there's a certain percent of you who have natural analytical ability. And where numbers is kind of your thing. And I hope that you're choosing a major that connects that natural ability with numbers. But beside you, or around you, you have a pretty fair percent of students who are not the analytical type. They're more of the word person. They probably spell better. They probably write figures better than us analytical people. I put myself in the analytical side. My weak side was words and spelling and numbers, and it would be torture to write paper for me. But for somebody who hates numbers, writing a paper for them probably seems pretty easy. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're having troubles with an assignment, didn't finish it, you still hand it in. And then you hand in the part you didn't finish the next day. And you just get penalized a late reduction for the part you didn't finish. But don't say, oh, I didn't finish it, and not hand in the whole thing, and take a late reduction on the whole thing when you'll have some of it done. Especially if it's a non-detailed grading, you have some of it done. It doesn't even matter if it's right or wrong. You're getting points. And what I was going to say is, this kind of scoring is really set up so that, you know, I want everybody in here to pass. What's going on in this class is, your grade's in your hands. I really can't affect it. When I grade all your assignments, and I grade your quizzes, and I grade your final exam, I'm grading like a robot, trying to put no emotion in it whatsoever. I'm not even looking at names. I'm looking at one problem, and taking off, trying to break down that answer to individual points. And if I take off a half a point on someone's because they rounded incorrectly, maybe, you have to have incorrect rounding in here. Already people are rejecting. Because of that, I'm taking the same exact half a point off on anybody who's had the same rounding problem. I'm trying to do complete consistency. So what happens is, and then I curve everything. But what happens is, there's a couple of people who say, man, I'm not a numbers person to the extreme. And I'm not good, and I didn't do well on that quiz. But after I curve it, if you fell apart a little bit, I take away some of the gaps. Yes, you're going to have a couple of people in here who are going to find this class fairly easy. They're going to ace it. You know, unless 3 or 4 are acing it, then it may hurt some of the rest of the class. But if just one person aces it, then there's a little gap between the next person. And then there may be a gap in the 70s somewhere. I crunch up the gaps. Never allowing a student to pass a student who did better than them. Never allowing that to happen. But I do get rid of some of the gaps, so that if someone fell apart, they still get a chance. You know, they still have a chance. They can even fall apart on 2 quizzes. And the way that you still have a chance is because you showed up to every lecture, you made sure and participated on the in-class assignments where you break down in groups of 2 or 3 or 4 at the end of class, and you work together. Each of you hand in an individual assignment, but you're helping each other in your group. You're stepping out of your group then and meeting with another group and seeing if they need help or see if your answers are the same or not. And the goal with in-class assignments is that when you're leaving and handing that in, that everybody's going to get 100 on it. And believe it or not, it seems like if you're comparing with your group and you're comparing with another group, everybody should get 100. But it usually takes about 4 or 5 weeks before people start to realize how to work that in-class assignment so you have guaranteed 100. In-class assignments are so easy with helping each other that you have to have your work, the work to get to your answer has to be correct. And so if this is a weak area for you, if you're not the analytical person, it's the in-class assignments where you reach out to the people in your group and you say, how did you do that work? And you make sure you do the work also. It's just part of the learning process, having those who understand this stuff, helping those who are going to have trouble. All right? So, and that's how it's going to be in this class. It's a real analytical class. But the things I'm going to teach you, all of you, when you get 10 years from now and you start getting management positions and you're going, oh, I'm managing now. Hey, I'm making more money I ever made in my life. You're going to start having to go to meetings where the things you're learning in this class are going to be discussed. And I want to make sure you know what everybody's talking about, what's going on. Because at the upper levels of management, there is mathematical formulas being used to make business decisions to make sure the company's money is not being wasted. That's what's happening. How do we cut expenses? All right, let's talk about inventory. Matter of fact, I made a quick list of some of the subjects. Where did I put it? Oh, I know where it's put. Each of these subjects that you saw here on the front page, I don't know if you guys saw that, are just some of what you're going to learn in this class, and all of these are going to be talked about when you get to the management level. Inventory management, how are mathematical formulas used to make sure that you are not wasting money and having too much management or running out of products because you have too little management or too little inventory. Waiting line theory. You work at a credit union or a bank and you get to management and you're the one that has to schedule all the tellers, drive through, in line. This is all about making sure you're scheduling the correct amount of tellers based on the rate in which customers arrive, the rate at which your tellers provide service, and that you're scheduling the correct amount and not wasting money having too many because you want the best customer service. Simulation. Every business is turning to simulation now. You're going to have simulation in 2 other classes after this. One of your biggest projects in your future are a simulation project in which past students, I hear from many of them, hey, I got that project you mentioned in our class, and you know, and they need a little help as far as advice how to even get it started. It's so big, it's so huge. This is using Excel spreadsheet to take a business idea and say, okay, should we really spend all that money on this idea? Well, let's simulate what could happen if we did. And that's what businesses are doing. They're saying, before we spend millions of dollars doing this, let's simulate it based on all the information we put together and see what could happen. What's the chances we could lose money? What's the chances we could make real money? And what could be our expected return on the investment? And that's done through simulation. Project schedule. I mean, it speaks for itself. Using mathematical models, though, to make sure the project schedule with every activity, knowing when they should start and when they should finish, so they don't slow the ending project. Excuse me. Forecasting. County majors, raise your hand, please. Okay, there's only about 6, 7, 8 of you. That's it. 9. 9 of you. This is in your future without a doubt. As soon as you start managing an accounting office, one of your main functions is budgets, and you have to forecast the future revenue. And these are some of the techniques I used to use to do those types of forecasting. Decision analysis. This is just basic, get you started so you don't get scared and drop the class that we're going to cover today. All right. Linear programming. This is kind of the base of this whole class. Don't let the words linear programming scare you. I'm going to break this down, but non-analytical people are going to have trouble with it. So it's up to you, numbers people. Accounting majors, you should be numbers people. Finance majors, you should be numbers people. To help those around you who are non-numbers people, because they're going to struggle with this a little bit. All right? All right? Let's keep going. Those are the kind of things, and you're going to see all of these in your future, in your management future. Now, you're going to hand something in late. This policy is in stone. Cannot change. It just works out best for everybody. This way I can treat everybody the same. Remember, however you feel about me, you don't have to be nice to me at all, because I've set this whole class up to where how I feel about you has no influence on your grade. Okay? No way. What's influencing your grade is how everybody else does around you, so help them. That's what's influencing your grade. Everybody, you know, I don't know where to go with this, but here's the deal. It's a no excuse policy. Anytime you're late with an assignment, there's a good chance it was out of your control. It's late. All right, just let me, and if you want to tell me why, just so you feel better, that's fine. But I'm not changing the rules. It's a no excuse policy. I'm going to treat it like this is a job. You know, and your future in the job, if you're not handing stuff in time, it's going to come up during your annual review, and you're going to be reprimanded, and then after that, you're on probation, and then after that, you either let go or you turn it around.
So, let's say if for our work, I have 2 trips that go sending us on. One, I'm only gone on like the Tuesday and on the Thursday. Is it possible that we can discuss with you what will we do on that day, so we do it prior?
Absolutely.
So it's not like, okay.
Let me think about this for a second. The only bad news is that sometimes I change the homework every single semester. I change the quizzes every semester. I change the final every semester. So my point is, sometimes I don't know what the homework assignment will be until the night before the class. That's the only downside. But as soon as I know, I'll tell you if you're communicating with me that you need to know as soon as possible. Yeah. And if you're not here and to hand it in paper, you just use your phone, take a picture, and email the picture. And everybody always says, hey, I emailed my homework, did you get it? You don't need to worry if I got it or not. Go to your sent folder. And in your sent folder, if it looks like it got sent to me and it arrived, that's all the proof you need. Even if I didn't get it, I'll rate and paste that you sent it on that date to my email in your sent folder.
I assume that all the homework or assignments that we would submit to you are probably digital in nature, and we don't have to worry about getting a physical copy?
No, most people hand them physically. I'm just saying, if you're running late to class, pull off the road, take pictures of your homework, email it to me, and take your time. Physically being late is no big deal. You can watch the video. I'm trying to videotape every lecture. I'll have it on YouTube by tomorrow. I'll have the link on Blackboard. You're not going to miss a thing. But your assignment being late, that's crazy. You know, just pull off the road. Who cares if you're late? Just if you're walking from building to building, step aside, put your homework out, take some pictures, and relax. Grab a pop, whatever. Take your time. Who cares? You know, the campus here. Don't be wrong. You should be here. But if you feel comfortable enough that you can watch the video and get what you're going to get out of these lectures from being here personally, that's fine. Don't worry about being late. All right? I've had some students last semester say that these videos saved them from doing as well as they did, that it was the key for them on their quizzes, because by watching the videos the night before, like 2 students said, it just put it all together for them. So utilize it that way. If that helps you, I think that was great insight by them. The night before, they just went through it, talked about it, they said, let's do another one. Talked about it. And there's usually about 4 to 5 lectures between each quiz. So you have 4 or 5 hours of video you can watch, and you're probably right there, ready to go. Because what happens, and I hear this every semester, is that I break this stuff down to try to make sure those that are not numbers oriented can get it. Right? So I break it down to the simplest form I can get it to. But the non-numbers people, when they leave, if they don't attack the homework or whatever may be coming up in the next day, it starts to leave you. And I get this all the time. Hey, I walked out of here knowing exactly how to do this, and then I waited till the day the homework was due, and now it looks like a foreign language. And I can't figure out even how to get started. I hear this every semester, multiple times. And so if you are somebody who feels they're more of a weaker person when it comes to numbers, try to establish the habit of attacking the homework right when you leave. At least get it started right when you leave. It'll make it much easier for you, because it's very common. You're so your brain is geared to be so uninterested in the stuff you're going to learn in this class that it's trying to get it to leave the moment you leave, because it just doesn't like it. All right? But you can probably read a book in half the time, those who love this stuff. Anyway, once it's late, whatever the assignment is, in class or homework, it's 25% off. So if you're on your way to class, you hand it in 1 minute late, do not be mad at me. Everybody can hear me right now, right? You heard me say, if you know you're going to be 1 minute late, why not just step off to the side, take pictures, get it sent. You see it in your sent box, and be 5 minutes late. Who cares? All right? That's the deal. This is like a job. Your assignments must be on time, or you're getting hit with a 25% reduction in this week's pay. All right? So that lasts until midnight the next day it was due, and then it's another 10%. And then the next day is another 10%. And then you can hand it in, what is it, 3, 4, 5, 14 weeks from now, and the most I'll take off is 60%. And let me say something real quick. All right? If you're shooting for an E in this class, and someone always does about halfway through, they said, okay, I'm going for the E. You have to not care about your grade to the point to where you're not going to hand it in the next day. Now this is why I think this is crazy, because this proves that you are shooting for the E. The answer is posted the next day. Okay? And so, all it takes for you is to, where's my little rule here? All it takes for you is to open up the answer the next day. For some reason you didn't do the homework, whatever it may be, cost the next 4, I've been there, whatever. You just open up the homework, you put the answer, you don't have to rewrite the whole problem, the answer in your own handwriting. Anything that's late, you cannot copy paste. It has to be your own handwriting, because I'm hoping a little bit will sink in. And then you take a picture with your phone and you email it to me. And you're guaranteed a 75. How could you get something wrong? Right? So if anybody's getting less than a 75 on any assignment, you're trying to prove you don't care about this class. And that's your choice. That's your choice. I've set this up for you to pass. And you're going to have to work hard not to pass. But I also set up this class, I want you to be prepared, because if you find anybody who's taking you for it, here's what they'll tell you. The quizzes are hard, and the final's even harder. I want to make sure that those who are going for the A has to work also. I want to challenge them. I don't want this to be a breeze for them. So I have that balancing act going on. So it's going to be hard to get the A, but it's going to be hard to fail. It's all in your hands. It's up to you. I can't do anything about it. There's only 2 little spots where I have to make a little bit of adjustment, and it has almost no effect on your grade whatsoever, but it's right here, the participation score, which is what percent of your grade? I forgot. Is it 6%? 6%. So you gotta remember, this is 6 out of 100 points. Only 6 of them. 40% of those 6 points, what is that? 2.4 points is on attendance. So you could be, your score could be 2.4 points below 100. You can lose that many if you missed every lecture. That's all you would lose is 2.4 points. So everybody says, oh, what if I missed 2 lectures? You do the math. What's 40%? There's going to be like 24 lectures. What's 22 divided by 24 are the percent you were here, times the 40% of the 6 points. That's the point you're getting out of 6. If you only got 5 out of 6, you lost 1 point. There's no way you're losing a point only missing 2 lectures. Think of it, you know. So you'd have to, for this to affect your grade, you'd have to have missed, I'd say 6 lectures. Okay? Don't worry, someone will miss 6. They're going to test the theory. 2 emails. Not hand you something in on different days. I just need you to tell me you can email me. That's all. All right? On different days, not hand you something in, nothing attached. It can say, hey, I just want to get my participation in. That's fine. Again, different days. Some people wait till the last day of class. Here's 1, here's 2. Different days. And that's 15% of the 6%. Right? I just go and look and count. Did you do 2 or not? 1 office visit, 10% of the 6 points, is 1 office visit. When you're heading up the stairs to come to class, stick your head in, tell me your name, I'll make sure I mark it down, you got an office visit. All right? That's all it takes. Or if we're leaving, like I said, I stick around for about 10 minutes to pack all this up, walk me to my office, you got an office visit. Or, if none of that works, just email me and say, let's set up a Skype or a FaceTime or whatever communication video you want to use. I'll download it and I'll use it too. I'll work around whatever the case may be. And we'll do it that way. All right? Then, here it is. This is where I have to make a judgment. Even if I hate you, I don't think I've given anything below, I mean, you'd have to miss so many classes for me not to be able to see if you did any of these 2 things. So let's say I gave you a 50, and I've never given anybody 50. Hypothetically, let's say I gave you a 50. That's 50% of 15% of 6 points. So 15% of 6 points is like, what is that? I don't know. That's not even a point. So 15% of 1 point is 0.15. 15th 100th of a point is the, and then I said I give you a 50%. So as you can see, I'm not going to influence your grade. I cannot affect your grade. So if you want to be nice to me, don't even think about it. It has no effect. And then the other one is, oh, this is if you're helping, I want to observe that you're helping others in your group during the in-class assignment. You know, that you're reaching out to those who are struggling a little bit and helping them. And those who need the help, that you're reaching out and saying, hey, help me a little. I want to see this, I want to hear it, I'm going to be watching, you know, I can see things out of the back of my head. 15% that you're speaking up. I ask a lot of crazy questions when you least expect it, and you know, I want people to answer them if you can. It usually takes a few weeks before you feel comfortable enough to speak up with every question, but please start getting comfortable as fast as you can, because I want participation. I want to hear answers to my questions. So those are the only 2 things, and you know, as you can tell, you know, when I put up that spreadsheet, start figuring out what happens if for some reason I gave you a 50 on those 2, and you'll realize it doesn't change your grade. You'd have to be right on the border between 2 grades for it to change your grade. That could help. There are some people right on the border, and I'll get emails every semester. I was so close. Isn't there any extra credit? Isn't there? No, there's nothing. The grade's in your hand. You should be looking at what you need. You can plug in any grade in the final on that the worksheet I'm going to post, and you can say, oh, this is what I need in the final to get this grade. This is what I need in the final. You're going to start plugging in different grades and know exactly what you need to get the grade in this class. The only thing that students find hard is kind of predicting the participation rate, because I'm guessing most students seem to come across as if they expect a really high participation grade, but I must do participation different than other classes because your participation grade's in your hands. I just put up a formula, you know, however many you attended, divided by however many lectures we had, times 0.4. However many emails you sent, divided by 2 emails expected, times 0.15. It's just, I just plug in the numbers and do a formula, and that's your score. So if you missed a lot of lectures, you didn't do 2 emails, you didn't show up to my office, 5% is the evaluation. You didn't complete the evaluation. We'll talk about that when we get closer in the semester, how you let me know you did it. You know, you didn't do a bunch of these. You got to realize then your participation grade isn't based on me going, I feel bad for him, I'm going to raise the participation grade. No, it's a formula. Whatever numbers get entered into the formula, whether you did the email, whether you did the evaluation, whether you stopped by my office, that's what affects the score. I take emotion out of it, period. I'm not going to let you persuade me to like you or hate you. Your grade's in your hands. I'm just here to coach you through this. That's it. Whatever effort you put in will be reflecting your grade. Those who seem to really say, I'm going to take this class serious and I'm going to study, seem to get higher grades than those who say, I can get by. It's open book, it's open. No, what could happen? It's no internet during any quiz or exam, and no any previous tests or quizzes, even though I change it. Some questions are similar, but just a lot of different numbers and stuff like that. Also, I'm going to do everything possible to take away the temptation of cheating. And I apologize, but if for any reason, you're going, it's open book, open. No, I should be able to cheat through this class. Just know I'm going to go to the earth's end to take away the temptation, because I've been there. I've been there. I know how hard it is to resist temptation. I remember our whole class cheating one time because this professor obviously had no clue. And the ones with no clue are the ones easiest cheating. Well, I go to extremes. I put up folders between each student. I give 4 different quizzes are out among you. Not everybody has the same quiz. What else? I can't remember. I do a lot of crazy stuff. Just a lot of different things. And it's not about, I never want to ever catch anybody cheating, because that's an awful experience. As a matter of fact, if I see you cheating, I probably won't bring it up right away, because it's just something I end up losing sleep on and just hate. I don't want to catch you so badly that I try to take away the temptation so that you finally come to the realization, okay, I can't cheat in this class, I better start reading the stuff, or I better start doing the homework, or I better start applying myself. So that's usually the situation. 9 out of 10 times, a student who thought they could maybe cheat through the class, and they get a 48 on the first quiz, all of a sudden I see their grade going up, and they go, all right, I'm going to apply myself, because I realize it's more work to cheat than it is just to study the stuff. So you might as well just apply yourself, because you actually will be using this stuff in your future. Is there anybody that's not a business major, even a computer major maybe? Everybody's a business major. Computer science? Okay, I always get a couple of computer science. Also, whether you like it or not, computer science, eventually there's a chance you may get to management. Even if you don't want to, you'll be recruited. And you're going to hate it, because you've got to manage people. Right? Programmers always hate people. And I do too, I'm sorry. But when you get there, you got to know this stuff. Because everybody else at that table during those meetings are going to be talking about, hey, how'd that simulation turn out? And you need to step up and say, yeah, I'll do the next simulation. I know how to do simulations and stuff like that. That's the stuff that's going to give you the promotions. That's the stuff that's going to give you the big raises. That's the stuff that did it for me. Is that I was always the one who was enthusiastic to say, hey, I was at a company who never did a simulation before. And I said, why do we simulate that? And they're all looking at me like, what? You end up being like a hero. Next thing you know, you're the one with getting promoted faster than anyone else. You're the one getting the biggest raises. That's the advantage of accounting majors. When you're running the accounting office, when you get to that point, you can see everybody's raises. And you can go back and look, and you go, wow, I was getting the biggest raise because I was at the forefront applying all these things that you're going to learn in this class, because smaller companies aren't doing them yet. Big companies, they're all doing every one of these. Smaller companies, you hooked up with a smaller company, you got the management within 7 years after you started with them, and you're the one that's going to bring this stuff to that company, and you're the one that's going to be the next president for that company because you brought this to them. Right? And that's what happened to me. I became president of a company because of this. And then I said, I don't want to work anymore. And I walked out away and been teaching schedule. As you can see, it's about a quiz every 2.5 chapters. Looks like our first quiz is, what is that? Thursday, 2 weeks from this Thursday, right? Is that right? Here's this Thursday? So overview of the class, we're going to start chapter 13 today. We're going to finish chapter 13 on Thursday and start chapter 10. We'll finish chapter 10 on Tuesday next week, start chapter 1, finish chapter 1, good, all right. So the first quiz will have 3 chapters, if we stay on that track. If we're not on track, we slow down, because obviously we're already behind schedule. I can tell you so many crazy stupid stories. If that happens, the quiz date won't change most likely, just what's covered on the quiz will change, all right? So, just so you know, plan on that date. And we got 2 chapters. A lot of students find these 2 chapters. We start to get to where they get a little hard. So that's all will be on quiz 2. 2 chapters. This starts to get a little easier here, but hard, very hard. This is one of your hardest chapters right here, 4. And then we have spring break. Oh, how great is that? More there. Quiz 3, after spring break. Yeah, that's one that could be changed on the date maybe. We'll talk about it. 2 chapters, quiz 4, 2 chapters, final exam. Now look at how the final exam, I would love to be able to do final exam portion 1 and final exam portion 2 and not have to come back for the final exam on the 23rd. But I know what's going to happen. You guys know what's going to happen? Huh? Snow days, yeah. This and these are going to be eliminated. And the final exam is truly going to be on the 23rd at 4:15 in this room on the 23rd. I triple checked it. And if for some reason we don't have snow day, if we have 1 snow day, first half of your exam here is about a 2-hour exam, and then only an hour for the second half here. If we have 2 snow days, this stuff's good. Okay? Things will just shift. So the first quiz, the quiz date won't shift, probably just the material shift if we have because I know there's possibly even snow coming very soon. Okay, any questions? I think that's all the major stuff on the syllabus and on the course outline. Yes?
Is a calculator needed in this course?
You should. I never require it, but I've never seen anybody not use it. So yes, there's a lot of calculating being done on every course. But I'm going to break it down. I can tell they're looking at me, you don't like calculators. So.
No, it's fine.
Okay, all right. What about book? Anybody found a book for $50 or less by chance? And where did you find it if so? It's not much.
I don't remember exactly how much mine was, but we got mine off Check. I think.
Check.
Hold on.
I hear that's a lot. Amazon I hear too sometimes. Anybody? Amazon? They less than 50? Yeah, yeah. The 14th edition or the 13th?
Mine's a 14.
14? 14, 13? That must have been inexpensive. I've seen those out there for like $20. Anybody else? Why only this side of the room? There's nobody over here has a book? You do? Amazon for? Good. Good. You guys, if you spend over 50 and you can take it back, think about possibly doing that. You know, unless you don't care about the money. If you don't care about the money, then you need this class. But you need to start caring about money. All right? That's all I got to say. And I think that's it. We want to get started? Everybody know what to expect? Oh, you know what? Did I skip this one?
Yeah, you did.
No.
No, you only put the okay with score.
Okay, okay means non-detailed grading, and there'll be a little over 50% of the assignments graded this way. Okay with a score means it's non-detailed grading, but you're missing some work, or you're missing part of it, or you did something, or whatever. This means, hey, surprise, detailed grading, and you won't see it coming. And I'm looking at every piece of your work. I'm looking to see if you got the answer right or wrong. And this is really a harder score time. Less than 50% of the assignments will be this way though. No okay, just a score means it was a detailed grading. Again, don't rely on these as your notes and stuff you have out during the quiz. It's open note, open answers. Get the answers off the blackboard and use those. All right? That way at least you know you have the right answer to look at. And that's what I advise on my quizzes. is that it's all about, time is your biggest enemy. And it's all about not having to take too much time to figure out which one of these notes, which one of these homework answers, which one of these PowerPoints, or what chapter or what page from my book is going to help you with that problem. The time it takes you to figure out where the help is what's going to kill you. And if you want to prepare for the quiz, it's not memorizing any of this stuff. That's the whole point of Open Note, Open Book, is I don't want you to have to memorize it. You know, if we all had the best memories, we'd all be physicians, because we got to memorize medical terminology and nursing and all that medical physiology and terminology you got memorized. That's crazy. All right. Where was I going with this? Open book, open note. Instead, figure out a way to take a random problem out of the back of the chapters that are in the quiz. Maybe print it, cut them up so you don't know what chapter it's from, mix them up, and see how long it takes you to identify where the help is out of the things you have to help you with that problem. To kind of refresh your memory of the logical steps to solve it, and then apply those steps. That's how you do these quizzes. Everybody hear that? That's how you use the tools to refresh the logical steps. That's what I'm going to teach you, all these logical steps. Then all of a sudden, oh, and then you apply what the steps to the problem you're about to do. That's how you do these. That's how I would prepare it. All right. Here we go. First thing we're going to study here from chapter 13, which is decision analysis, is maxi-max. Maxi-max, what to say about that? Let me see what words they say here. I always use the word, by the way, the best of the best. This is how I remember how to do maxi-max when I was sitting in the classroom back in my day. Is the best of the best. My little phrase to remember. So maxi-max is called the optimistic approach. All right? Any marking majors here? Okay. If you are a natural optimistic person and you're a marketing major, you're going to fit in really well with marketing departments at companies. Because they're always the optimists at the table. They're always, we're going to sell 1 million of those. They're always optimistic, dreamers. And I love it. I love it. We all need it. So you're in the right business. Here is how you do it. Let me just jump. You're reading all this at home, all right? I'm getting to the raw meat and potatoes. You ready? You're going to be given a decision table. And it's going to say, hey, you have these 3 decisions, but you don't know what's ahead. You don't know what the economy, this could represent the economy, this could be representing, you've got a contract in place, you're trying to see if either you will get the contract, you won't, or you got to split the contract, or something like that. So there's states in nature that are out of your control that could take place. And however that turns out, based on which decision you made before that state of nature, this is most likely going to be the outcome you'll see. You can make money, or you can lose money. So with decision analysis, you're going, which one would be the best decision? Which one's going to either give me the least amount of risk of losing money or the best probability of making as much money as possible? Whatever way you look at this. The maxi-max approach is the optimistic approach. That's the approach where they go, what can I get rich off this if I make the right decision and the right state of nature takes place? Now, here's what I would write down in my notes to help me on a maxi-max problem. Step 1 is find the best outcome for each decision. I want to emphasize, underline the word decision. I am learning from all the previous students that have come before you, and on a quiz, no matter right now how I emphasize the word decision, somebody's going to look at the state of natures and pick the best outcome for the state of nature instead of the decision. So let me say it again. Step 1 is to find the best possible outcome for each decision. Now, this table could represent profit or it could represent cost, are the most common items that these numbers represent. So let's hypothetically say this is a profit table. I want to make sure you're getting me. If you go with decision 2 and state of nature 2 takes place, will you have profit or a loss, and how much? Anybody jump in? I hear profit. 3? All right, right there. And this could be hundreds of thousands, but it's 3. A profit, right? All right, so you're getting this. how to read it. Now look at decision 1, no matter what the state of nature is, and tell me what the best possible outcome is if this is a profit table. 4. You got it. There happen to be 2 different state of natures that could happen with, but the best possible outcome for decision 1 is 4. Decision 2. 3. Decision 3. So now you got a 4, a 3, and a 5. Step 2. Select the best outcome from those maximum decisions you just found, or those maximum outcomes for each decision you just found. It's that easy. You're going to pick the best of the best. You ready? I want to put I already forgot one. Let's see, you said 4, 3, 5. Now, this is decision 1, decision 2, decision 3. Which one's the best of those 3 on this profit table? 5, which happens to be D3. There's your answer, and this is one of the hardest ones to show your work, because these quizzes are all about showing me the steps that you got to your answer, not just the answer. So I need you to show me that you identified a 4, a 3, and a 5, which means you did step 1, you found the best one for each decision. Then show me you picked, however you're going to do it, you can put an arrow, circle, and then make your recommendation. What does that represent? Make the connection. Decision 3. If we're using the maxi-max approach, we right now have analyzed that we should be making decision 3. Right? Okay, let's do it again. This is a cost table. These represent costs. A negative cost would mean it's not a cost. You with me? Everybody's with me. All right. Maxi-max, decision 1. Give me a number. -2. It's either going to cost us 4,000 or whatever, cost us 4, or not cost us anything and gain 2. Get it? Okay, decision 2. Decision 3. Okay, the best of those would be? And what decision is it? That's how you show your answer. These are that easy. So you got to show me something. All right? And right now you're going, I can't believe this class is this easy. Don't worry. I'm starting with the easiest possible thing you'll ever see in this class. All right?
Why is -3 the best?
Because this doesn't. This is a cost table.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right. So right. Cost versus profit. Cost versus profit. This is the outcome for profit. This was the first cost. All right. Let's go to maxi-min. Now, here's the words I used to use to remember maxi-min. Maxi-min is the best of the worst. That's the words I use. The best of the worst. Maxi-min says, and by the way, this is the conservative approach. This is the accounting offices, accounting majors. You've got to be the conservative voice at the table when you get to management. And the conservative approach says, okay, by the way, in business, it's always plan for the worst and hope for the best. Anybody hear that? Plan for the worst and hope for the best. And plan for the best too, but you always got to suspect it could be the worst. And you've got to be ready for it. So now, in the conservative approach, it's all about looking. Step 1 is find the worst possible outcome for each decision. Underline decision, because we're heading to where you're going to do this with status of nature on another one. Okay, everybody with me again? I want you to write this down if you need it. Step 1 for maxi-min is to write the worst possible outcome for each decision. And then step 2 is pick the best of the worst of those outcomes that you just picked. I'm going to do this one over here. This is a profit table again, all right? We're doing maxi-min. What's the worst possible outcome profit table? Make sure everybody's on the same page. For decision 1. -2. Worst possible outcome for decision 2. -1. Now this is profit. So these negatives have, because this is profit, these negatives have a different perception than it would if this were cost. And then decision 3. -3. Now these are negative. The worst possible outcome, because this is profit, so these would be losses. Which one is the best of those 3? -1 is, which is decision 2. There's how you show your answer. We would rather only lose 1,000 compared to losing 3 or 2. That's why that, if it's a profit table, that's the best of the worst. Okay? You ready to turn it to a cost? Cost table. No, let's talk about this. This is a cost. So this would represent not a cost, right? Worst scenario for decision 1 would be a cost of what? 4. Worst scenario for decision 2?
3.
Decision 3?
5.
Okay, the the best of the worst would be which one?
3.
That's right, because it's a cost table. That's right, decision?
2.
There you go. I feel comfortable, maxi max and maxi min, you've got it. If you're not a numbers person, give it a couple days and it will probably be gone. It's very easy, because your brain's saying, I hate this stuff, why do you have to sit with it? All right, it's just, you're wired that way, I'm wired this way, don't ask me the way, okay. You ready for this one? It starts to get a little more important. Mini max regret. This is more like quick review. We picked a max, this is the maxi max approach. We picked the best for each one, 4, 3, 5. Is that correct? We have 4, 3, 5 there. And then the best of the best is decision 3 with the 5. Here's the maxi, yeah, Excel. All right, hang on. I almost forgot. Let's do Excel now with maxi max. I got one right here. Okay. If I were asking you maxi max and you, for some reason, how would this be a quiz question? You would probably have a picture of a spreadsheet on your quiz, and there'd be something here, and I would say, give me the Excel expression, write it out, equals, whatever it is, that is probably right there in cell H, whatever the number is, if we can see it, blanky blank, and that's the answer you give me, whatever's going to be there. Now, let me show you how you're going to be able to tell what would be there. It'll probably be something like this up above, max, whoops, that, and then here equals the Excel expression. I know a lot of you already know a lot of Excel, but there's some people in here who need even the basic of Excel. And by the way, if you're anybody who doesn't feel comfortable in Excel, this is your chance to embrace it, because in the other classes, you have no choice but to understand Excel, or your grade's going to be frying. So this is your chance to embrace Excel while I'm going to be taking it very slow with Excel for you. Equals, the word max says, you tell me what cells you want me to look at, and I'm going to find the biggest number on those cells. So I wanted to find max, parentheses, from F, what is that, E5, you can't see it, I should change it, to G5, N parentheses, hit enter. Did it come up with the maximum number for that decision? All right, I didn't use dollar signs on purpose, let me get up here, so that I could copy and paste it by not using a dollar sign in front of the E or the 5 or the G in the 5. Excel knows to change whatever makes sense when I copy it to this cell. So it should be max E6 through G6. Now, if I didn't want that 5 to change, you put a dollar sign in front of it, you're telling Excel, when I go to copy and paste it, do not change that 5, or do not change the G or the E. So, I'm just going to copy and paste it. You tell me, did it pick, whoops, did it do it right? Are each of those the beginning of the maxi max step 1? Okay, the second step would be to find equals max. Okay, I'm going to do it this way, from here to here, boom, how's that? They're all, and we got 2 of them tied. So decision 2 or 3, 2 and 3 or 3 would be your recommendation with a possible outcome at 12 using maxi max. Maxi min, what? Look at the command we use here. Equals min, parentheses. Min says find the minimum number between the cells you're about to tell it. Save cells, right here to here. Is 1 the smallest number there? This is the profit table. All right, let me copy and paste it. Are all 3 of these correct? A 2 and a 3. And then here, this is maxi min. Am I using a max or a min here? Come on. Max. Maxi min says you find the worst for each decision, but then the best of those worst. So this is going to equal max, parentheses, these 3 cells up here, which should be a 3. There you go, which would be decision 3. And then, if we had more time, I'd we're going to eventually get to where I'm showing you how to use if statement. And an if statement is going to say, if this cell is equal to that cell, then recommend decision 1. If this cell is equal to that cell, then recommend decision 2. And if this cell is equal to that cell, then recommend decision 3. So that you will also be making a recommendation, not just showing me what numbers to use. Now, I really get a question about right now, can we use Excel during the quiz? And the answer is yeah, sure. The deal is on the quiz, though, you can use Excel, but you still got to write on your quiz what you entered to get this, okay, with these. So, you know, you have just as much work as the person not using Excel. You still got to write out whatever it is you entered into Excel. But if you want to have this all pre-formula ready to go, so while you take your quiz, you just click on the cells that got you the answers and write them down, you know, and then write down your answer you got from Excel. I'm doing everything I can to help you. I want you to pass. I really do. All right. So there's mini-max. Now, you ready? We're going to mini-max regret. So we learned max and min. We're not going to have time, so next Thursday we'll pick up large and small, which is just like max and min with a twist. And then here we go, conservative pro, mini-max regret. We're not catch up to the table. Back to the table. Yeah. Mini-max regret. Step 1. Find the best outcome for each state of nature. I'm going to say it wrong. Let me say it again. Step 1. Find the best outcome for each state of nature. Subtract each outcome from that best outcome in that state of nature. That's step 2. Everybody hear that? All right, here we go. Step 1. Find the best outcome for each state of nature. Not decision. Underline state of nature. Not decision, state of nature this time. Then subtract every outcome in that state of nature from the best. And drop the negative, meaning absolute value. Drop the negative. Doesn't matter which way you subtract, actually. If you get a negative, just drop it. Everybody hear that? Which means absolute value. So I want to make sure you get this. Look at state of nature 1. You're going to get this in the example. Ready? Look at state of nature 1, and we're going to call this a profit table. Not decision 1, state of nature 1. What's the best possible outcome? 4. Everybody see that? We're looking at this column instead of the row. Now let's subtract everything from 4. 4 minus 4, 0. 4 minus 0, 4. 4 minus 1, 3. Whoops, I subtracted them backwards. Ready? 4 minus 4, 0. 0 minus 4, negative 4, drop the negative. 1 minus 4, negative 3, drop the negative. You get the same answer. Just write yourself a little note, drop the negative on this step. So step 1, find the best outcome for each state of nature. Step 2, subtract the outcomes from the best in each state of nature. Subtract each outcome in that state of nature from the best. I want to make sure you get this. We're going to do state of nature 2, but this is a cost table. I threw a twist. Are you ready? Everybody ready? The cost table, what's the best outcome in state of nature 2? 3. Very good. Subtract everything from the 3, whichever direction you want, drop the negative. 3 minus 4 is negative 1, drop the negative, 1. 3 minus 3 is 0, 3 minus 5 is negative 2, drop the negative, 2. There's the regret. You're forming the regret table for each column. But if you do the whole thing as profit or the whole thing as cost, depending on what the instructions say, whether it's a profit or cost, and get your regret table. So, look at this. 4 minus 4, 4 minus 0, 4 minus 1. You see how these numbers came about? What was this one? I forgot. 3? No, what was this? Oh, we did it as a cost. Okay, it was profit, whatever that number was, 5, I think. 5 minus 5, 5 minus 3, 5 minus 4 or something. Whatever these are. You with me? How this came about, everybody see? No matter how much I emphasize this right now, somebody's going to start by using the best of each decision and start subtracting. This one is state of nature, not decision. Make sure you got that in your notes. You are looking for the best outcome for each state of nature, then you subtract every outcome from the best in that state of nature. And you get what's called the regret table.
Okay, so I understand the cost one. Can you go through the cost one just one more time, please?
The cost one is the same rule. It's not about, not how to do it. I'm sorry. If you have the steps how to do it, whether it's cost or profit, should, as long as you follow those steps, you're gonna get the right answer. So let's go back to the original table so I can show you again. If I can find it. Come on. All right, ready? Let's pretend this is a cost table and we're on state of nature 1. So what would be the best outcome if this is cost? 0, right? 4,000 cost, 1,000 cost, or 0 cost? We want 0 cost. Okay, now subtract everything from 0.
Oh,
Zero.
okay.
Or everything minus 0, whichever way you want to look at it.
Okay.
0 minus 4, drop the negative. 0 minus 0, 0 minus 1, drop the negative.
I just missed the first part of how you got that first number, sorry.
Okay, so the best outcome and then subtract, get your regret tables. You ready for the next step? Once you have your regret table, you want to find the maximum regret for each, underline the word decision. We're switching from state of nature back to decision now. And you want to locate the maximum regret possible for each decision. So let's look at this one. At this point, once you turn into a regret table, it does not matter if I said proper cost, this step is the same, because it's based on the regrets that you already analyzed whether it was a proper cost. These regrets are already there, so what I'm about to tell you, what you're about to do, does not matter if it's a cost or a profit. You do this step exactly like this. What's the most you could regret in decision 1? 1. Because there's either regret of 0 or 1. 1 is the most regret, and that's bad. You know, regret's bad. This is the worst possible situation could happen, is regretting $1,000. Decision 2, the most regret you could have. 4. Decision 3. Okay, that was step 3, correct? Step 4, select the least regret of those maximum regrets. I lose you?
Can you repeat step 3 real quick, please?
Step 3?
Yeah.
Okay, step 3 is identify the maximum regret for each, and underline the word decision. So we formed that decision, or the regret table, because we looked at each state of nature. Once we have the regret table, we're going back to decisions now and finding the most regret we could have for each decision. Now, you told me the numbers were 1, 4, and 3. Is that correct? I'm going off camera here. 1, 4, 3. Here's where you're at. You're showing me your work. You're showing me you got the regret table. You're showing me you found the maximum regret for each decision. And the very last step I said was to select the least of those maximum regrets, which would be which number? 1. You're recommending what decision?
1.
Decision 1. And you got to show me something, do something that shows me that you're recognizing that the 1 is the least of the maximum regrets, and what decision you're recommending, which in this case would be decision 1, because of it being the least of the max regrets. Basically, Minimax Regret says each decision has regret involved. Let's pick the one that will least regret if things don't go the way we would like. And that's decision 1. The most we could regret is $1,000, so let's do it. All right? Let's see. We good? What do we got here? How are we doing on time? That's it. I can hear my alarm. That's it. All right. Here we go. Are you ready? What? What's going on? Huh? It's your first in-class assignment. Get ready. Let's go. You're going to work with people right around you right now. Get a piece of paper. Everybody hands in their own. Everybody hands in their own. We're helping each other around you in your group. Okay? Now, once everybody in your group is done and you all feel comfortable that you have a complete in your group, step out of your group, find a group in another part of the room, not right behind you, not right in front of you, in another part of the room, compare with them before you hand it in. Compare and help them, or let them help you if you don't have the right answer, and go find the members of your group if you don't have the right answer. If they don't either. For what? However many you want. I don't care. Usually it's 2, 3, or 4. You ready? Here we go. How can you sign as early? What the heck's going on? Can't believe it. Where's that signing sheet, by the way? Right here. Is there anybody that has not signed in? Oh, geez.
Didn't even get to the answer to the.
Wow, really? Okay, look, who on this side was just heard, right? You have, you give it to her, and you give it over here, okay? Wow, look at this. This is your assignment. What kind of a table are we looking at? Oh, almost gave it away. All right, and what kind of concept am I asking you to do out of these? Which one you gotta do? Maxi max, and what else? That's it. Now, this is about you showing me what you're gonna do in your mind. If you're finding the best outcome of a certain spot, write it down, don't just do it in your mind. I need to see the work process, the process. That's what this is about.